Okay, for this project, we're going to be drawing realistic owls. So I'm starting off with just some brown craft paper. If you have a lunch bag or a grocery bag, you can use that brown paper as well. If you don't, you can just use white paper, and it'll just take a little more shading for you to do. I like the roughness of this paper. It really helps absorb the soft pastels or the chalks that we're going to be using today. So I'm just going to start with my drawing process. I'm going to start with a typical horned owl. So for that, I'm going to start with a circle. Now, you can use a template if you want, if you feel more comfortable just tracing a template. All right, and then from there, I'm going to cut this template. I'd like to have some lines of symmetry to help me. So I'm going to kind of cut it somewhat in half, a little higher up for the eyeballs. This will be the eye line, and this will be to help me with the ears and the beak. Okay, so to start off from here, from this line, I like to just make a diagonal line up. This will be his eyebrows, and I go equally on both sides, and I extend it past that circle up. Okay. Then from there, the eyes are basically almost fully round circles, but they do come out flat first, and then they come down, and they're quite large. You'll feel like you're making them really big. Make sure they're even. Okay. Now his beak starts right around his eye level, so it has like a little diamond shape, and then it comes back out, and it'll go down to the bottom of the circle here. Okay, now to start adding the details of his feathers and where they are. He has little white feathers around his eyes. I'm just indicating where those would be. He also has a bit of an eyelid here that you can thicken up, and then these feathers will come out. Okay. And then he has facial feathers that come all the way from around the bottom of his beak out like this. And then he has little short feathers on his head that go in the direction that fade up this way. Okay. I like to put in a large pupil for his eyes, and of course a reflective highlight. I call those tiny shinies. Okay. You could put the tiny shiny on the same side if you feel like. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now for his body, I'm going to bring down the round edges. Now the goal of this is to put this on a background. So we're not going to get into a bunch of details with his wings or anything like that. So then he's got feathers that grow around his body. And then there's little indications of feathers that I'm just going to go quickly in here. Okay, so I'm going to stop about there. And then this part inside of his ears, or his eyebrow feathers, would be dark. Okay, so I'm going to take a Sharpie and outline the things I want to outline. This pupil, tiny shiny. Tiny shiny. The round part of his eye, the eyelid. A little thicker. His beak. Now, his beak will also have a highlight right there. Can kind of draw that in. Now you can let your Sharpie be wispy by not pressing so hard. Let it just lightly touch the page. Get some texture there. Okay. Trying to break up some of those real distinct lines with a little less symmetrical, less perfect. Okay, so I'm back with my white. I'm just going to add a few highlights up in here with my white. Maybe around his eye here. Down around his nose. Around this area. Just kind of letting it blend right in with the other chalks that are there. Not too much to do up at the top, keeping that kind of natural. And then I will go back in with my warmer brown underneath his cheeks there. Just a little bit here. All right, I'm going to take my white and go around that area, whole area with it. If you like the way the white looks and you want to add more areas, you can. Just kind of break that up, soften it up, make the feathers look like that. If you want to go in with another brown for the top, you can. And then maybe add some little fine hairs for feathers like that. Just adding a lot of implied texture, the way something feels, but when you touch it, it doesn't feel like it looks. Okay, so that would be one owl drawing. And then you would cut this out and put it onto a black piece of paper. And all you would need to do with a black piece of paper to create the background is just take your white chalk, create a moon, just circle, and I usually make it pretty heavy or dark in the middle, and then let it blend out and get lighter. That kind of gives it a glow effect. Okay. If you want to put little stars in the sky, you can by just tapping your soft pastel or your chalk onto your paper. Okay. Once you get that, you're just going to cut out your owl. it might be easier for you to cut it out after you're done drawing it with a Sharpie so you don't smudge your soft pastel work. That's fine. And glue it on and then do your soft pastel work right onto the black. You could do that. So then you would just glue your owl at the bottom of your page, and you can go back in and you can add some of those wisps that got kind of cut off because of your cutting, and add those back in if you want. Okay, so that's the one. I'm going to show you how to draw the other owl, the barn owl, on another piece of paper. I have another piece of craft paper here. I'm just going to tape down because it wants to curl up on me so bad. And that's one side and the other. Okay. So this one's a little simpler as far as what you need to add. There's not a lot to add, but you do have to do quite a bit of shading. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to start off with a round circle, come towards the top. Again, I'm just using my frosting lid. Okay. All right, so from there, I'm going to extend, this is the round part of the owl's head, and I'm going to extend its body. So it's going to kind of curve, but then it's going to go like, almost, it reminds me almost like a Russian doll, the shape of it a little bit. Oh, that's weird, but, so I'm just going to curve that shape. Now, the key part is his heart-shaped face. So inside the circle, I'm going to make my lines again, my vertical and horizontal lines.